There are moments in life when everything feels like it's falling apart. You try your best, you put in the effort, you make sincere dua, yet the outcome is the opposite of what you hoped for. The person you thought was interested walks away. The job you applied for doesn't come through. The doors you knocked on remain shut. It's easy to feel like you've been abandoned, left alone in your confusion. But in those moments, remember this deeply. Allah's plan is always perfect, even in the delays, even in the detours, even in the heartbreaks. What we often forget is that our understanding is limited. We see only what's in front of us. We judge based on appearances. We think this person is right for us because they look the part, they sound good, they're present in our life. But Allah sees beyond the surface. He knows what lies in hearts. He knows what's hidden in the future. He knows what will break you and what will build you. So when He removes someone from your life, or causes a plan to collapse, it is not cruelty, it is protection. You may feel disappointed because you were attached to your idea, to your version of how things should go. You thought that by now you'd be married. You thought that person who smiled at you and showed you interest was the one. You thought your dua would be answered exactly the way you envisioned. But understand this, a closed door isn't a rejection from Allah, it's a redirection. He's taking you away from something lesser, something harmful, something that may seem beautiful now, but would bring you pain later. He's guiding you towards something better, something more fulfilling, something that will elevate you both in this life and the next. Look back at your life, and you'll see it. Times you cried over things that didn't work out, but years later you thank Allah they didn't. You now see how that delay gave you time to grow, how that person leaving your life opened space for peace, how that rejection taught you to rely on Allah and not on people. These were not accidents. These were divine arrangements. His wisdom was working even when your heart was breaking. One of the traps of the heart is thinking that our plan is better, that we know what we need. But the one who created you, who shaped your soul, who knows your past, present and future, does He not know best what suits you? He is Al-Hakim, the most wise. Every moment He designs for you is with purpose. The timing, the pauses, the losses, all of it is written with precision. When you don't understand why it's happening, remember you don't have to. Your job is not to decode the plan. Your job is to trust the planner. Sometimes the most painful moments are the greatest signs of Allah's love. He breaks your heart to save your soul. He removes what distracts you to bring you back to Him. He lets you taste emptiness so you'll turn to the only one who can fill you. And yes, it may hurt. Yes, it may feel unfair. But every hardship is measured. Every tear is counted. Every trial is tailored. The one who allows your heart to break is the same, one who can heal it in a way no human can. So when that person doesn't text back, or when the interest fades, or when your intentions don't lead to a halal path, know this is not random. Sometimes Allah closes a door, not because it's not meant to be, but because it's not meant to be. Yet, you're still being shaped. They're still being shaped. And until you both are ready in His eyes, not yours, the door will stay closed. Not out of punishment, but out of mercy. Think about this. Would you want to force your way into something that Allah is withholding from you? Would you want to cling to someone who isn't part of your Qadr? That's not love. That's attachment. Real love is built with the blessing of Allah, not in spite of His signs. When He opens the door, it will be smooth. There will be barakah. Things will align, and your heart will feel at peace, not in thrill, not in anxiety, not in desperation, but in calm. That's how you'll know it's from Him. Don't measure Allah's love by how many of your plans work out. Measure it by how many times He saved you from yourself, from making a mistake, from rushing into something not good for your deen, from falling for someone who may be charming but not sincere. Trust that the heartbreak now is better than the lifelong regret later. Trust that being alone in peace is better than being with someone who takes you away from Allah. The Prophet ﷺ taught us that if something is meant for you, it will never miss you. And if it misses you, it was never meant for you. What a relief that brings to the heart. You don't have to chase. You don't have to beg. What's written for you will come at the time it's meant to. Until then, grow, prepare, purify. Because the plan Allah has for you is not small, it's not random, It's tailored for your soul. Even the pain you feel now is not wasted. Every moment of patience is reward. Every tear that falls in sujud is heard. Every whisper you make asking Allah for clarity, for peace, for a sign, it is heard. So don't lose hope. Don't assume because you're delayed that you're denied. What Allah does for His servant, He does out of love. Sometimes it's wrapped in a test. Sometimes it's covered in silence. But always, always, it is filled with mercy. So hold on, even if you don't understand it now. One day you will look back and thank Allah for the doors that didn't open, for the people who walked away, for the plans that fell apart. And you will say, Ya Allah, you knew what I needed more than I did, and you gave me better. Keep walking, keep trusting. His plan is more beautiful than your dreams. In a world where relationships are often shaped by fleeting emotions and superficial attractions, it becomes increasingly important to understand the difference between temporary infatuation and sincere respectful interest. When someone is genuinely drawn to you in a way that pleases Allah, their behavior is dignified, pure, and rooted in purpose. They don't come with confusion or games. They don't leave you questioning your worth or your values. Instead, they approach with sincerity, guided by a sense of responsibility and accountability before their Creator. If a person is truly interested in you for the right reasons, they will not hide their intentions. They will not play with your emotions. They will not seek private, secretive conversations that slowly draw you into a space where guilt outweighs peace. Real attraction, sincere attraction, is not only about how someone feels when they look at you, but about how they honor what you mean to them in the eyes of Allah. Such a person doesn't want to simply enjoy your company. They want to protect your dignity. They understand that love without respect is nothing more than a fleeting desire. They don't wait for moments when no one is watching to express affection. They don't shower you with sweet words only in private while hiding their interest in public. When someone is attracted to you in a sincere and respectable way, they involve Allah in their intentions from the very beginning. They are not only drawn to your appearance or your smile, they are drawn to your character, your adab, your iman. And this kind of attraction doesn't lead to temptation, it leads to action. One of the clearest signs of sincere interest is dua. A person who truly wants something good will ask the one who owns all good. Before they ever text you, before they speak to your family, before they take a step, they take it to Allah. They make dua that if this person is good for their deen, their dunya, and their akhirah, that Allah facilitates the path. And if not, that He turns their heart away. That's a sign of maturity. That's a sign of sincerity. When someone is serious, they pray for you before they pursue you. And when they do pursue you, it is with dignity, not through secrecy, not through manipulation, not by forcing your emotions into corners, but by doing things the right way. They know that what begins in darkness rarely leads to light. So they choose the halal path, the respectful approach, because they don't just want you for now, they want you for a future that is blessed. They don't want just a moment of happiness with you. They want to build a life with you under the shade of Allah's mercy. Too often, people confuse attention with affection. Just because someone looks your way or likes your posts doesn't mean they are genuinely attracted to you in a way that honors you. Real love, real interest, shows itself in responsibility. It respects your boundaries. It values your time. It honors your journey. A person who is sincerely attracted to you will not try to rush you into haram. They won't pressure you to compromise your values. Instead, they'll admire your commitment to your faith, and they'll strive to match it. And even if their path to Allah isn't perfect yet, if their interest in you is sincere, it will inspire them to become better. They'll want to improve, not just to impress you, but because your presence reminds them of what it means to be closer to Allah. That's the kind of attraction that has barakah in it. Not one that tempts you to sin, but one that calls both of you upward in faith. This is why the intention behind attraction matters so much. Anyone can say sweet words, anyone can give compliments, but not everyone can hold themselves accountable to Allah when those feelings arise. The difference lies in whether the attraction is selfish or selfless. Selfish attraction seeks to take. Selfless attraction seeks to give, to protect, to preserve. When a person truly respects you, they will not want to see you fall into guilt. They will guard not just their eyes and their hands, but your emotions. They'll recognize that love isn't about excitement alone. It's about care, about guidance, about mutual growth. If they are drawn to you in a way that honors Allah, they'll understand that the best way to express that is through proper channels. They will make their intentions clear in a manner that brings you peace, not confusion. They will speak to those they need to speak to, your family, your guardians, when the time is right. They won't leave you guessing. They won't disappear for weeks and reappear with shallow excuses. Because sincerity doesn't behave that way. It stays consistent. It doesn't play with your heart. And perhaps most importantly, a person who is sincerely attracted to you will care about your akhirah. They won't want to be the reason you distance from Salah, from Quran, from modesty, from Allah. In fact, they'll be afraid to harm your relationship with your Creator. That fear is not weakness, it's strength. It means they are aware that love is a trust, not a toy. The world may try to sell us the idea that love is about boldness and chasing feelings, but the believer knows that the best love begins with restraint, with taqwa, with respect. Because love that starts with Allah will be sustained by Allah. And when someone's interest in you is rooted in Allah, they will treat you not as a desire to fulfill, but as an amana, trust to protect. If you find yourself in a situation where someone's interest is leading you into secrecy, into anxiety, into constant doubt, pause. Ask yourself, is this leading me closer to Allah or further away? Because someone who truly wants you in a halal blessed way will not want to ruin your peace for the sake of their momentary happiness. They'll want you to smile on your wedding day, without regret, without guilt, with the full blessing of your Lord. So don't chase the person who flatters your ego. Don't settle for the one who excites you but disrespects your faith. Wait for the one who fears Allah enough to treat you right, who is not only drawn to your beauty but to the light you carry inside, who doesn't just want to be around you, but wants to be with you in a way that brings joy to your heart and reward to your scale. That kind of attraction is rare, but it exists, and when it finds you, you won't have to beg for clarity, you won't have to guess, because what is from Allah comes with peace, not pressure. It uplifts you, it brings you closer to Him, and it makes your heart say, Alhamdulillah, not I wish I had waited. There are moments when you feel like everything you desire is just out of reach. You see people around you settling down, getting married, finding love, moving forward in life, and you wonder why you are still waiting. You make dua, you try your best, you purify your intentions, and still, there's silence. The person you hoped would be part of your life is not there. The conversation didn't continue. The proposal didn't go through. The connection didn't last. And in that quiet place, your heart begins to question. But what we often fail to realize is that the delay isn't without reason. It is not a punishment. It is not rejection. It is divine timing at work. Because sometimes what you think is a delay is actually Allah preparing the perfect moment for your soul to receive the right blessing. When Allah delays something, it's not because He forgot you. He is never unaware. He is never late. He is never late. He is never careless with your heart. Every moment of waiting is a moment of refining, of shaping, of strengthening your character and your reliance on Him. You may be ready emotionally, but maybe you're not ready spiritually. Or perhaps you are ready, but the person meant for you is not. And because Allah wants something lasting, something built on stability and taqwa, He holds things back until both hearts are in the condition required to sustain the blessing. The human heart is naturally hasty. We want quick answers, fast results, immediate clarity. But the soul grows slowly. Character takes time. Healing takes time. Maturity takes time. And sometimes Allah withholds a person from your life, not because He wants to break your heart, but because He wants you to reach a place where you'll be able to carry the responsibility of love without losing yourself. He delays because the version of you who's praying today might not be the version who can maintain that blessing tomorrow. Sometimes you meet the right person at the wrong time. And the timing isn't just about external circumstances, job, age, location. It's about internal readiness, about whether you've built enough patience, humility, emotional resilience, and spiritual grounding to make that connection fruitful. If Allah brought everything you wanted the moment you asked for it, would you be ready? Would you treat it with the gratitude and care it deserves? Would you have the wisdom to handle it in a way that earns His pleasure? Divine timing is so precise that what seems like a delay today might be the very thing that protects you from heartache tomorrow. You don't see it now, but Allah does. He sees how one rushed decision could lead to years of regret. He sees the tests that lie ahead in a rushed relationship, the arguments, the misalignments, the faith that may be compromised, the peace that may be stolen. So instead of allowing you to fall into something just because you're desperate for companionship, He pauses your story, not to torture you, but to realign you. And during that pause, He draws you closer. The stillness is not empty. It's filled with opportunities to grow in Sabr, to connect with your Lord, to fix what's broken within you, to realize that your worth is not defined by someone's interest in you, that your happiness does not hinge on someone's presence, that even if the entire world overlooks you, your Creator never does. So what should you do when nothing seems to be moving? You focus on what is in your control. You work on becoming the kind of person who brings light to another's life, not through appearance, but through character. You strengthen your relationship with the Quran. You seek out knowledge. You refine your manners. You serve your family. You engage in acts of worship. And in doing so, you become someone worth waiting for. You become the answered dua to someone else who's also waiting for the right time. One of the most powerful things you can do during the delay is to pray for the person who is meant for you, even if you don't know who they are yet. Pray that they're guided, that they're protected, that they're increasing in iman, that they're being shaped into someone who will lead you with kindness and walk with you toward Jannah. Because maybe they're out there right now struggling too. Maybe they're also wondering why nothing is working. And your prayer is helping both of you reach the moment Allah has written. And when that moment finally comes, it will be smooth. It will not feel forced. It will come with clarity, not confusion. With peace, not pressure. With barakah, not secrecy. You won't have to sacrifice your values to hold on to it. You won't have to beg for their attention or hide your connection. Because what is written for you will find you, at the exact moment Allah has decreed, not a second earlier or later. So don't rush what Allah is still preparing. Don't sabotage a beautiful future by settling for something just to fill a temporary void. Waiting is hard, yes, but regret is harder. And Allah never tests you with waiting, except that He has written something better than you imagined. Perhaps not in the form you expect, but always in the form your soul needs. And know this deeply: if it is meant for you, it will never miss you. If someone is written in your Qadr, if a connection is meant to blossom in the light of Allah, then nothing and no one will be able to stop it. Not distance, not time, not circumstance. Allah will move hearts, rearrange lives, and clear paths when the time is right. Your job is not to chase, not to control, but to trust, to strive, and to surrender to His timing. Let your heart rest in this truth: the delay is not denial, it is preparation. It is mercy. It is love in a form you may not recognize yet. But one day, when the pieces finally come together, when the right person enters your life at the right time with the right intention, you will look back and thank Allah for every unanswered dua, every quiet night, every tear, and every moment you thought He had forgotten you. Because He never did. He was simply waiting for the perfect time to bless you in a way only He could. In a world where attraction is often mistaken for affection and love is confused with lust, it becomes essential to ask, where is this feeling leading me? When someone is attracted to you, it's not just about how it makes you feel in the moment. The real question is, does that attraction draw you closer to Allah or take you further from Him? Because attraction that leads to remembrance of Allah, that motivates growth in faith, that inspires dignity, patience and self-respect, that is not just an emotion, it's a sign of barakah. Not all attraction is harmful, and not all of it needs to be feared, but it must be handled with wisdom and sincerity. When someone is genuinely attracted to you in a way that honors your soul and not just your image, that attraction pushes both of you toward betterment. You begin to pray more, you become more mindful of your actions, you guard your tongue, and you guard your gaze. It brings a sense of calm rather than chaos, clarity instead of confusion. That's when you know the attraction has purpose, not just passion. A heart that is sincere will always be afraid of pulling another away from Allah. So even if the feelings are strong, even if there is chemistry, the person who truly values you will think twice before engaging in anything that could damage your relationship with your Creator. They won't rush into late-night conversations or secret meetups. They won't blur boundaries and disguise it as getting to know you. Instead, they will guard both your dignity and theirs. They will hold back out of love for Allah, and that's real strength. Attraction is not sinful on its own, it's natural. But what you do with it determines whether it becomes a source of blessing or a source of regret. If someone is drawn to you, and they channel that feeling into sincere dua, respectful distance, and eventual halal pursuit, then that is a beautiful thing. They recognize that attraction is a test, and they treat it with maturity. They don't chase you in ways that compromise your peace. They don't pressure you into emotional dependency. They don't expect physical access as proof of connection. They value your soul more than your availability. That kind of attraction humbles a person. It doesn't make them arrogant or overly confident. It softens them. It makes them want to become better, not to earn you, but to become worthy of what they're feeling. It awakens something deeper in the heart, a desire to please Allah, a desire to walk on the straight path, a desire to do things the right way, not just for the sake of others, but because they believe in the weight of their actions before Allah. This kind of attraction is rare, but it exists. And when it happens, it is unlike the fleeting highs of sinful romance. It is steady. It is intentional. It is respectful. It does not make you lose focus in life. It refines it. You still work on yourself. You still maintain your worship. You still guard your heart. Because even though you feel something for someone, you're not allowing that feeling to take over your identity. You remember that every gift, including feelings, must be handled with gratitude and control. The Prophet said that among the 7 types of people shaded by Allah on the Day of Judgment is the one who is tempted by someone, but out of fear and love of Allah, they refrain. That means the feeling itself is not the problem, it's what you do with it that matters. When you use that feeling as a means to grow closer to Allah, when it becomes the reason you seek more guidance, more purification, more dua, that's when that attraction becomes a tool of elevation rather than destruction. Sometimes people will say, if it's love, it should be exciting. But true love, the kind that is pleasing to Allah, is not just excitement, it's peace. It's having someone in your life who doesn't just stir your emotions, but who anchors your values. Someone who reminds you to pray, who encourages you to stay strong in times of weakness, who honors your journey and walks beside you without pushing you into sin, who says let's do this the right way, even if it's harder. That's the kind of attraction that brings ease, not restlessness. You're not constantly anxious about whether they'll leave. You're not trapped in guilt after every conversation. You don't feel like you've betrayed yourself or your principles just to keep their interest. You feel protected. You feel honored. You feel closer to the version of yourself that Allah loves. And even if that person doesn't stay in your life forever, even if the story doesn't end in marriage, that attraction still wasn't wasted. If it brought you closer to Allah, if it helped you discover parts of your character you hadn't seen before, if it purified your intentions, then it served a beautiful purpose. It was part of your growth. It was part of your Qadr. Not every blessing is meant to be permanent. Some come to redirect, to awaken, to prepare you for what's next. So if you ever find yourself wondering about someone's attraction to you, look at where it leads. Does it make you neglect your obligations? Does it distract you from your worship? Does it push you towards secrecy, dishonesty, or regret? Then no matter how strong it feels, it is not from a blessed place. But if it leads you to maturity, to self-control, to more dua, and reliance on Allah, then it may very well be part of a path that is paved with mercy. Remember that Shaitan also uses attraction to tempt, to divide, to whisper illusions of love that are nothing more than traps of sin. But Allah uses the same feeling to uplift the sincere.
When handled correctly, attraction can be a means of barakah, of elevation, of drawing near to your Lord. It can be part of the process that leads you to someone who becomes your partner not just in life, but in faith. So protect your heart. Don't deny your feelings, but don't be ruled by them either. Channel them in a way that pleases the one who gave them to you. Because the best kind of love is the kind that starts with Allah, is guided by Allah, and ends in Jannah with Allah's mercy. If someone is attracted to you, and that feeling brings both of you closer to Allah, then it's not just attraction, it's a gift, and one that should be handled with immense gratitude and care.